Alright, so the spell making endeavor is going to be fairly involved. So let's take a look just quickly at how many reagents we have, and you'll see that we have not very many of some of these. And because we have to make so many different spells, I think our best idea would be to go to one of the locations in Britannia that will allow us to be able to buy reagents. And so our choices are Moonglow, Scarabray, Pause, and then another fourth unknown location that I haven't yet found. And I think based on the fact that everything seems to be relatively cheap in Moonglow, that's the place that we should go to stock up on all of our reagents. So let's go and take, should we sail over there? Nah, maybe we'll take the Moon Gate over there. We'll go over to Moonglow, and then after that, we will go over to the reagent shop and start our endeavor of making a whole bunch of spells. So I'm gonna hop in the Moon Gates and get over there, and I'll see you guys when I arrive. Okay, so we've taken the Moon Gate effectively to the eastern side of the world, and now we will pop into Moonglow and go and find the reagents store, which I think is right down here. Yes, it is. Okay, magical herbs lady, let's have a talk with you. Alright, so a blind woman turns to you and says, "Welcome to Magical Herbs." Now, we're gonna need pretty much a lot of everything in order to facilitate our adventure. So some of the most important spells that I think we should try to get prepared first are light, which will essentially act as a way to illuminate the area around us, which is just straight up sulfurous ash. And then also exit. Exit's really important too, which will be spider silk, sulfurous ash, and also blood moss. So let's make some. Well, first I guess we can just buy 99 of everything. I think that'll be the best way to start out. I am Margot. Are you in need of reagents? Yes. Okay, so let's get sulfurous ash first. So we can get 20 of those. And that's 40 gold pieces. So we're going to pay her the correct amount. Anything else? Yeah, we'll get some ginseng. And so what would this be? 78 to bring us to 99? Okay, so that's 390. And we'll pay that. How are we doing for garlic? So we have 39, so we're going to get 60 of those. So $360 again. There we go. And we're going to get some spider silk. No, we don't need that. We get 0. So blood moss. We're running kind of low on cash. Black pearl. Let me just see here for a second. So blood moss is 6 gold pieces each. Black pearl is 9 gold pieces each. And black pearl, I don't think we really need for any of the spells that we want to make, actually. So let's avoid that one for the moment. Let's just get some blood moss instead. So we'll see what 49 of those costs and see if we can afford that. Oh yeah, we're good. So 294 gold pieces. Perfect. So nothing for the moment. Alright, so then let's start with our spell crafting. So we're going to mix some reagents. And first up on our list is light. So let's do that one, which is just down here. And light just requires sulfurous ash. So we'll select that, we'll say mix. And I think a good idea would be to make about maybe 20 of these to start. Okay, so there we go. Now, let's prepare some exit. And we don't need a ton of exit, we'll just make a few of those. So magic, we're gonna mix some reagents. And I think exit's on the next page, yep. There it is. And exit requires spider silk, sulfurous ash, and blood moss. So we'll select those. There we go. And we're gonna prepare, let's say 5 of those for now. Okay, great. Now the other really important spell that we'll need is probably Tremor. And that's why we picked up a lot of that Mandrake. So I think it would be safe to maybe make like 25 tremors. 25 or 30 tremors. We can go with that. Okay, so magic. And then we're going to mix some reagents. We're going to go find our misspelled tremor over here. And we know that tremor requires sulfurous ash, blood moss, and mandrake. So sulfurous ash, blood moss, and mandrake. And we're going to make, what do we say? 25 of those. Awesome. And again, that's a big offensive attack that's going to allow us to hit multiple enemies simultaneously, which is going to be really, really useful. Great. Now, another thing that we should probably make a couple of is Resurrect. And we did find out what the Resurrect spell was from Nigel, if you recall, back in the Lyceum. So he said that it takes 6 ingredients, and we have a little bit of all of those, and they are sulfurous ash, spider silk, garlic, ginseng, blood moss, and mandrake root. So we can hope that we might not die while we're in the dungeons, but that would kind of be, I guess, a little cocky, because we don't know. We don't know how we're going to fare. Okay, so what do we need here? Sulfurous ash, ginseng, garlic, spider silk, blood moss, and mandrake. So a little bit of all of those. And we're going to mix. And I guess we can make maybe 6 of those. Success. Excellent. All right. So other spells are down and up, and then also heal. Heal is pretty important. We still have lots of dispels made. So let's do down and up first. So that's going to be spider silk and blood moss. So we'll do up first. So spider silk and blood moss. And I guess we can make 10 of those for now. Okay. And we're also going to make some down as well. And it's the same reagents, so we'll do spider silk, right? Yeah, spider silk and blood moss. And we'll mix those and we'll make 10. Okay. And then let's do some heal spells now, which is just ginseng and spider silk. We should probably make lots of those. So let's mix reagents for that one. Go find good old heal. So ginseng and spider silk. So spider silk is our limiting one here. I guess we could make like maybe 50 of those. Because why not? I doubt that we'll need that many, but heck, why not? And then we should also make some cure spells as well. And we've been making those all along, and that's just going to be made up of ginseng and garlic. Okay, so let's make maybe 20 of those. I don't think that we'll need lots of those, but good to have them around anyway. All right, so I think that we've made lots of what we need. But let's just take a quick look at what we actually have left. So spider silk and ginseng we have very low amounts of. So we should probably buy, just to kind of top up a couple of our really low reagents, just in case we decide that we want to make some more while we're actually in the dungeon. Who knows what'll happen to us? So let's get some more reagents. So let's get some spider silk. We have 18 of those. I guess we can get another, maybe 22. See how that goes. So $66. Okay, and what was the other one that we were low in? Sulfurous ash we don't really need. It's the ginseng, I guess, that we should get some more of. So we'll get 0 of those. Ginseng we can get 17. Make it a nice round number to 40. So 85 gold pieces. There we go. Alright, so I think we're sitting quite pretty for going off into our first dungeon, which I guess we should probably do because why not, right? We're kind of at that point where that's the next logical step. But first, we can donate to this person. There we go. And we're just over in Moonglow. Let me just double check our to-do list. I know we were just here. Nope. Looks like we're good for now. Alright, so the first dungeon that I'd like to go to is just back over by Britannia. So we're going to catch the Moongate back over there, hopefully. And then we'll go and search for that location. So we'll just wait for it. It's actually conveniently going to show up right now. And there is our ship off to Britain. Okay, so let's just save our game. Don't want to have to make all of those spells again, right? Alright. Now, we're going to the Dungeon Despise. And the Dungeon Despise is somewhere in the mountains. And I can't remember exactly where. And it looks like we're going to have to fight a lot of fights on the way. Based on the number of dudes that just tried to rush us there. And fighting in these little spots is sometimes frustrating because it's hard to kind of maneuver around some of these obstacles. But you just kind of do your best. You just kind of shimmy your dudes around, and we're going to be doing a lot of dude shimmying, for lack of a better term, once we get inside the dungeons. It's actually kind of crazy how much shuffling you have to do of your party. So, okay, so we got 63 gold. Wow, we have a bunch of fights to fight. Okay, we're getting rushed. So I'm going to fight these fights, and then when I'm done all of them, we'll continue to look for the entrance to that dungeon. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. A poison trap figures as much. Okay, let's cure our poor poison friend Dupree and continue to look for this mountain place. Now it might be up here too. I think I at some point wrote down. Alright, I think we're getting close. If we can just make it through some of these battles here. This is usually why I tend to fight in the grassy plains area rather than in the mountains or the hills or anything like that, because the battles are so tricky just in terms of blockades and things like that. It's just easier to fight in areas where there's not so many things in your way between you and your enemy. Somehow Jeffrey always ends up behind a rock. Not quite sure how this happens. Alright, we've finally gotten rid of all of those guys. And check this out. So this is the entrance to the Dungeon Despise. So we're gonna pop right in here. And you'll see new music, first of all. The other thing that you'll see is that it's pitch black. So this is where some of that magic that we kind of stocked up on will come in handy. So you can see now we have our light spells, and we can cast that, and now we can see in our general vicinity. So what's good about light is that it lasts for a long while, and it doesn't tend to go out too easily or too often. Now, a couple of quick things. You'll see up in the left corner, it says L1. That means that we're on the first floor. Every dungeon has 8 floors, and the floors can have different types of features. They can have hidden switches that open up passageways. They can have those passable walls like we've talked about. There are rooms where you can get chests. There are rooms where you have to fight a mandatory battle every time you pass through, etc., etc. Now, we also did buy some gems, so I just want to show you how those work as well. So when we select gems, you'll see it just gives us a little map of the current floor that we're on. And all of the little red, like pinky door shaped things are doors. The little kind of checkered areas are battle rooms. And then those two light blue squares kind of toward the bottom, I think are pools. And the pools will kind of regenerate maybe health or can cure you of any ailments and things like that. So we're going to spend some time really unearthing some of the areas in this dungeon and seeing what we can find. And it's a tricky place, so we're probably going to be here for a while. So strap yourself in. Okay, so we know up here it's mostly a dead end. There's also some fights to fight. So the long story short is that we're going to be getting a lot of experience in here. Pretty much there's going to be enemies wandering around down here like you would see on the regular overworld. Most of the time they're going to be pretty decent fights, like what we're doing right now, for example. Other times though, you'll find that we'll run into certain types of enemies that are just terrible. You may recall a long while ago we ran into an enemy type that was in the prison called a Reaper. And the Reaper was in prison because it eats adventurers and it had murdered a whole bunch of people. And obviously that's no good. But yeah, they are rampant down here and we'll find ourselves fighting them quite often. Now, from what I've read online, fighting non-evil creatures inside of dungeons doesn't really matter. So if we were to get in a brawl with those mice over there or those rats, whatever they might be, I don't think that it really matters. And another thing is to make sure that we step on every single square in this place, just to make sure that we are on the right track. Because sometimes you step on a square in a room and it'll open up a new passageway. Now you'll see here on our little dialogue box, it says that we ran into some winds. So we're just going to cast light again. And this is abnormal. Normally you don't really run into those types of problems. Normally things do stay pretty well lit, but there are winds, like strange breezes in dungeons, that can cause your light to go out. So we're gonna get the chest. Oh, maybe we can't see the chest. Well, let's try to light the room again. We did move a couple of squares. Okay, so we got that back. So there was nothing good in that room, I don't think. There's bats in here now. I just want to take a look at that back wall if we can. Just to see if there's any passable walls over there. And we're seeing lots of new enemies that we haven't seen before or fought before, like bats and rats, and we'll see some gremlins down here too. Gremlins are just the worst because they eat your food. And speaking of food, we might dabble down here for a little while, and then eventually we'll have to head back out and get some more food. If we run low, we'll cast exit, but for now we can just kind of see how it goes in here. Okay, so this room just has those magical winds, so let's just cast light again. And this is why it's good that we picked up a lot of ash. Okay, so let's see what's down here. Oh, another fight with some ghosts. So yeah, this is pretty much how the dungeons go. You kind of walk a little bit, you get in a fight, you fight some dudes, you walk some more, you fight some more dudes, etc. And what's funny too is that each one of the towns that represents one of the virtues is going to have its own dungeon, right? So we're fighting Dungeon Despise, and that's going to be close to Britain, right? And Britain is obviously going to be the town of compassion, right? So Despise is the opposite of compassion. So all of the dungeons are kind of the opposing feeling more or less, to the 8 virtues. Alright, so we have an acid trap. Got a little damaged. Can walk in this pool. We search it. Who drinks? Oh, it's a poison trap. So we're not going to go in there again. We're going to cast a spell. So things sometimes pretend like they're friendly and then they're not. Okay, let's see if we search this pool. Ah, this one is an HP restoring one. So let's have everybody drink from this. Okay, so these things don't pop up very often. I think this is actually one of the only places we'll find it. And this on our map was one of those checkered rooms. So here, we have a full-on battle with a bunch of headless, and inconveniently too, some mimics. So we're just going to go straight into battle here and start firing away. And what's great about these places is that there's going to be lots of treasure as well. And the treasure is going to be great because that way we're going to be able to buy more reagents if we need them. We can buy weapons upgrades. We can just get a whole bunch of things that we'll require. So you can see the chests there. The mimics actually have angry teeth and other features that make them a little bit daunting. But either way, this room is really good to keep coming back to if we ever need to make money, because you can see all the chests that are there, and every chest will randomly have, I guess, anywhere from, I don't know what the low threshold is, but I think the most you can get out of a chest is $100. So we're going to keep firing away at these mimics until they're all dead. And then here, if we try to attack, it'll say, nothing to attack because we've killed everything. And what's kind of frustrating is that they leave you in battle mode afterward, instead of kind of turning you back into your regular little avatar self. Which means that you have to physically move everybody out of the room. So I'm going to move everybody out, except for one guy. And then that one person is going to go and collect all of the chests. So there we go. We got 43 gold, 68 gold, 80 gold. And just like any other chests, these can be trapped as well. Okay. So there we go. We made a whole pile of cash just from that first room. Okay. So here, more fights. And so now if we wanted to backtrack the other way, like the way that we came, we would end up having to go back through that headless room and fight. We might end up going back that way because there was a door at the bottom of that first floor that we didn't look through yet, but we'll see what's beyond the door that we're approaching now. Also too, if we don't grab this chest now, we're not going to get a chance to, yeah, and our battle ended. So let's get this chest. And let's see what's through here. More bats. So you kind of see how this goes, eh? Now the other thing is, as we go, we'll run into different staircases that will bring us down deeper into the dungeon, and then we'll see other stairwells that will bring us up, but maybe to a different part of the floor that we were just on. So these areas can get quite confusing quite quickly. So here's our first down stairwell. And I don't know if I quite want to go this way just yet, but heck, we might as well, because we're going to eventually have to exit to go get food anyways. Alright, so let's go on through, and we're just going to keep our eyes peeled, looking at those bricks to see if there's any spaces that we can kind of go by. And I also don't know if battles are mandatory. Like if we wanted to just leave this room right now, if we could. I think that that's the case, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just sending Hun in first into the fray here and sending a little line of battlers in behind him, or her I guess, because these enemies are going to be kind of hard to access. They're hiding around corners and things. Okay, everybody is killed. So I'm just going to get everybody to exit. I guess we'll go up first. And we'll leave Hun in here to collect the gold. So I'm just going to quickly shimmy everybody out. And then collect the chests. Okay, get chests. That was a trapped chest, I think. Okay, after we get them all out of there, it's gonna be way easier. Okay. And see, it's good to get this stuff with Hun because Hun is a very high HP. I hope that this bridge isn't really out. Okay, good. It reappeared. Okay, follow the rest of our party on through. So we exited up, and now that we're on a new floor, let's just take a look with our gem. So you'll see this is our new floor. So we've come from the right, and you can see that this kind of repeats. So there's a place that we need to go. Maybe in the next room we'll head left out of there, because it looks like it's just a repeating pattern that goes on and on and on. And you know that you're heading the wrong way when the rooms start to repeat themselves. So let's go this way. We never want to go too quick either. Just take a quick look at those bricks. Make sure that none of them are conspicuous. Okay, so here's another fight for us. And the other thing too is if things want to flee, they obviously can't go anywhere in these types of battle rooms. Like this is another one of those checkered rooms that we're in now. So it's not a regular battle, pretty much. Alright, so now we're going to head to the left. Hopefully. Moving everybody is so frustratingly painful. But we'll do it. Okay, here we go. Now it's easy. Alright, we are in a new area where we're gonna fight a bunch of spiders. And these rooms, like the random battle areas where you kind of go into like you would on the overworld area, there's never any secrets in these. There's sometimes secrets in the battle rooms, but nothing too major in these areas. So like for example, we wouldn't be looking for a hidden wall in the middle of a random battle in the dungeon. What sucks about these guys is that they poison you. Have you noticed we're poisoned again? Okay, we're gonna get our chest, and we're also going to cure our poison people. And what's nice too about our MP in this game is that it replenishes as we go, as we walk. So it's not like you have to go stay at an inn or something to get your magic points replenished. I find that to be a pretty big relief, all things considered. Alright, so that takes care of that. Now some enemies will give us food, others will not. Alright, so another set of steps. So we are down to the 3rd floor here. And here are some fields that we now need to dispel. Alright, we have 11 dispels. We should be okay. Hopefully. We'll see what happens to us. We do have more reagents if we do need to make more dispels. Now, I know that the left and right pathways don't go anywhere. So I'm going to go down here instead. Alright, so here is a room with just one door. So we're going to come out here. Now, these enemies are the bane of my existence. These are gremlins. And gremlins steal your food. So similar to rogues, how when they get near you, that they steal your money, these guys will steal our food. So we're going to try to kill them, starting at the ones that are closest to us first. Scary though, when you look at how many there are, and then when they all move at once, it's like, oh no, please don't take my food. And luckily they don't have a very high HP, so they do die quite easily, thankfully. But because there's so many of them, it's just hard to make sure that they don't take too much of your stuff. Because we don't have a ton of food to begin with, so we don't want to just leave ourselves susceptible to losing more food. Normally I would have stocked up a ton, but I figured we'd come in, do a little bit of work in here, and then potentially leave and come back after. Maybe with some crossbows for everybody, you know, because we're still missing a couple of crossbows for a couple of people, and maybe level up Hun and then get our hands on our last party member as well. But that's my plan for the moment. Kind of see how it goes. So luckily nobody's really stolen much of our food, thankfully. Die, gremlins. They look like weird Santas, eh? Okay. So we're starting at the top of the screen. I guess we can move downward. And I think this is one of those rooms with... Is this the one that has the step? Yeah, look at that. See, we stepped on that little block and the pathway to the right opened up. So, would you have thought to go there? I sure didn't the first time I played this area. Guess what I did? I wandered around this dungeon for almost, I'd say, altogether, at least 4 or 5 hours the first time I played it. So, I've learned a few things, and thankfully you guys don't have to watch the super struggle that I had. Okay, I'm just gonna fight to try to get everybody out of the room here. We'll go to the right first, I guess. That makes the most sense. If we go down, we just keep looping around.